He knows him.
You are kidding. Michael Madden went to your school.
Yes.
That's your boy.
Like,
Fraud Bay.
Yeah. Literally, like, chilling in the sixth form study area. As in, one time it was snowing and I dropped his younger sister home because she was friends with my sister. Like, honestly.
Oh my God! I can't believe this. I can't believe this.
You weren't really active in the group during this time. That was
because it did come up. It did come up when the whole fraud base scandal.
Yeah, because Tyrell posted it, and I was like, Michael, I was like, no way, and I was looking like he's got
Man dropped his government name and everything.
Yeah, his name's Michael.
Yeah, he was done out here, man.
So it sounded like gunslinger or whatever.
His name was Fiesenfeld.
Yeah, bro, same thing, innit?
Huh? Michael what?
Michael Fiesenfeld. Yeah.
What kind of name? Oh my. Yeah, man, that's your boy, man. He's washed. He's done out here, man.
That's crazy. But I thought he was getting like deals. he was on the radio, wasn't he?
Nah, he got a one-song deal because that's how these labels are popping off these days. But he's not respected and rated out here in these streets, man. To be fair, he tried to drop one track before, and it was awful.
Really?
Is that hole in your soul?
He dropped a little snippet on Vine, and it was like, oh, yeah,
hole in your soul.
You've been fucked so many times. You got a hole in your soul, and you put the bashment horn after it like it was the bar of the century. I couldn't believe it. I was fuming, and that was his. Oh.
You got a hole in your soul.
You know, like how D Double's got that. I'm trying to write that signature line.
Bro, you have to respect D Double. You can't be naming them, man, in the same.
Right. You're actually right.
In the same light.
I apologize.
It's very disrespectful.
It's who? It's
muy.
I can't find my glasses.
Since when do you wear glasses?
I don't know. Like I'm deteriorating.
Wow, that's a word for it. Jesus.
These late nights finally catching up.
Listen, late nights have been trying to catch up with you for the last 10 years. I'm surprised.
Right, hey, we're not doing no stitching in here, no stitching.
Okay. Listen. Some of us are out of the jungle right now, bro. So you know we're okay out here. Certain men are still on the market, still out here trying to. True say. So you might have to watch it. But me, I can switch on, man. Still, I got nothing to lose.
There's
nothing to switch on with me.
Certain man in here. I ain't gonna name names. Let's just.
I ain't gonna name no names.
Nigerian hustlers. AKA Mr. YouTube channel, AKA your robot demon,
AKA Yoruba demon, AKA.
You man, nah. This is paganism. What you man are doing right now, man.
Listen, Ilemo, it's okay. We're not gonna talk about the mattress, okay?
Huh?
We're not gonna do it.
Nah,
we're not gonna do it.
Nah,
okay? I promise. On this podcast, we're not gonna do that. Yeah? We're not going to talk about bad times. To be fair, we've all got stories, so I better chill before man start snitching on me. Because
yeah,
I need to relax. To relax. But yes, people, welcome to the show podcast. As you can hear the voices in the background, all my boys. We got Ilemo here. Say hello to the people.
Yo.
And we got Carl as well.
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Yo, what's going on?
So these two cretins are these are my boys from uni, and yeah, man, I just shouted them for this podcast. I thought it'd be nice to get their energy and their voice on the sort of things that we're going to be talking about today, and especially as one of the topics of today are men and trash behaviors. I thought I'd bring the two most trash individuals I know onto the podcast.
But then you had to get me.
You have to get us. Them guys weren't picking up, innit? Don't worry, I understand.
So you mean distancing yourself from these claims then, yeah? Is that what I'm saying?
I do not know that, man.
Okay, so formerly trash individual number one, Carl. What's good? What's new with you? Tell the people about
What's
yourself
new
as
with
much
me?
or as little.
We'll start with the most exciting thing. I've got a son on the way, which is
Congratulations,
lovely. Thank you. I'm extremely excited. It's such a strange thing to put into words how you can imagine a hypothetical situation in which you want to fight someone for doing a wrong to your child that doesn't exist yet. It's mad.
Oh, you know what? I could completely associate with that.
Like,
Yeah,
I've already argued with his school teachers and he's not even born.
Oh yeah. Oh, trust me. Listen, I've already choreographed how I'm beating up bullies. Like I've got it planned out. I've got camera angles planned out, everything. Like, yeah, I get that. I get where you're coming from. But all the hypotheticals play out in your head immediately.
It's just a strange sort of feeling. It's so strange. Yeah, but yeah. So that's the main thing. That's what sort of taking up the majority of my mind. A couple of bits and pieces with music. I've got some stuff due out for release soon. Had some stuff released recently. I'm not gonna name all the names of the things, but you just log on to Colossal Small, Colossal hyphen Small on SoundCloud, Colossal Small on Instagram, just Colossal Small anywhere. CarlOssal Small SMALL. Just Google me.
Yeah, I'm gonna put your or your links in the bio and that as well. So
follow me. I need followers.
Plug all your stuff, man.
You won't even know I'm there. Man. I don't post much, so just follow me in it.
This man's got a Twitter account. This man had Twitter before me. Man's got no posts. Man hasn't posted this year. Nothing. He's just not promoting his shit at all.
Nah, Instagram and Facebook. I do a lot of stuff, and I've got some bits on SoundCloud as well. And
that's a Facebook. That's how you know you're an uncle, man.
Trust me. Uncle. Trust me. Yeah, it took me so long to learn to use Instagram, and I still can't do it correctly.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I've only got Facebook to make my family think that they're still connected to me. Like, I'm not there. Like, one time, my mum got a Twitter account because she was doing a local business thing, and she was like, "Oh, I've got Twitter. You've got Twitter, haven't you, Ash?" I'm like, She's like, "We're not connected, are we?" I'm like, "Nah." And she just looked at me. I just looked at her. You know what I mean? Where like Diddy's looking at that guy and they're just staring at each other. I just looked at her like, listen, don't ask me because you're not gonna like the answer. Like, I'm not allowing you to connect with me on Twitter.
Don't at me. If you're gonna chat shit, don't at me.
Literally, do not. Oh, she got blocked immediately. She don't know. She don't even know. She just happens to never be able to see my shit. But yeah, so that's Carl. Is got a couple of projects on the way. One of them being Carl Jr. I'm expecting to see one of the middle names be Ash. That's just goes without saying, really.
I don't need that response.
I don't need one. I just want to see that birth certificate there, and let me.
When you move him to America, and he ain't got no visa, don't worry, it'll come out.
Yeah, we're definitely going to talk about that in a bit. We're going to talk about that in a bit. But before we get into that, Lems, what is good with you, my boy?
Yo, I'm good, man. I'm trying to do this YouTube thing. I'll even give you the quick genesis of how the YouTube thing came about. From when I was a little kid, my parents used to listen to like Nigerian music all the time. So pretty much my whole life I've listened to it. I used to have all the videos. Some of the videos on the YouTube channel I actually used to have on VHS. There's one of them that I still actually do have on VHS. But the rest of them, because I've been moving about, I've lost a lot of them in there. And I was trying to replace all the ones that I lost, and I went to this Nigerian shop and he was just telling me that the record labels don't really want to make the videos anymore because no one buys them. Everyone puts it on YouTube. So I was like, all right, I know the music, I'm a fan, it will give me something else to do, and I'd always planned on doing something in some form of passive with this music. So I just thought, let me start with the YouTube channel and then build it into other things.
Okay. So obviously I've known about this for a little while.
Yeah, of course. You did the label, and you even helped put the label on videos. loaded. So shout out you for that.
Yeah, man. So I rate what you're doing. Obviously, I don't really have the background. Obviously, I'm not Nigerian, so I don't fully get the I guess the importance of these videos. But I imagine that obviously they're well, when you were telling me about it, obviously of great kind of cultural importance to you and
Yeah.
and
It's a one.
your identity and where you're from. So
It's one of the parts of the culture that I've always really taken to. Like I said, from when I was a kid, my mum said that when I was about 2 or whatever, I used to just work the video machine myself, put the videos on. I remember as a little kid, I think I tore up most of the covers of the videos. Me and my dad fought. Well, I say we fought. I was 2, so it wasn't really much of a fight. But
yeah, he's getting fucked up.
yeah. But yeah, like I tore up some of the things, but for the most part, like the one thing that me and my dad always connected on was the music. Like he taught me that, and I'll always be grateful to him for doing that. And my mum taught me a lot. In fact, actually, relatives is a famous Nigerian artist. Distant relative, though.
I think that's a thing that's quite common in black families. That sort of music and with like being part of your upbringing.
Yeah.
You know, I was just about to say the same thing. It's mad that we've all got that in common. Like, I was thinking in my head, it's definitely a black thing as well. Like, music is so central to our cultures, even though like our cultures are that different. Obviously, like I'm of a Jamaican background, Ilemo's Nigerian. I don't even know where you're from, Carl.
Asian and Jamaican.
Yeah, my mum's side's from Jamaica. My dad's side's from.
When I was growing up, actually, my dad used to play. Obviously, I don't mean to be that guy, but like my dad used to play Bob Marley like every so often. He had this, you know, the Bob Marley record, Legend.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to play that. Waiting was the one that he always used to play, and I bought that vinyl specifically for that song.
Okay. Yeah, man. It is mad how like music is very much a common denominator in a lot of. See, I don't like to use the phrase black culture because
black culture is so vast,
so many different cultures. Yeah, exactly.
But that is one part
collection
of all black culture. Like
cultures,
anywhere that you go,
yeah.
So like music and their cultural music and their music from about like my mum and dad both had, like I said, my dad had Bob Marley vinyls. He had like the Temptations, Diana Ross, Stevie Wonder, all that kind of stuff.
Man's dropping the names.
Yeah, all of that. And I think my mum said she had like. I think my mum said she had like Michael Jackson vinyls as well, way back in the day.
So that explains where your love of Michael Jackson comes from.
Yeah.
So okay, let's get onto that topic before we get into other things, because obviously, controversial figure, we'll say that much, and obviously there's in the wake of the R. Kelly documentary, there's apparently going to be a surviving Michael Jackson sort of thing going on.
Yeah.
As a Michael Jackson fan, now obviously I already know how you're going to respond to this, but talk to me about your boy. How you feeling?
Right, well, let's clear one thing up, because obviously I know I'm a fan, but let's not say that we were boys, because I don't want any funny questions.
Well, okay, yeah.
Fair, but in all honesty, I feel like I don't want to like take away from what people feel. I don't want to take away from people's experiences or whatever. I do feel like in this particular case, obviously he went to trial and he's been arrested for this more than once. He went to trial and and obviously I know some people say, oh, it was a money thing. That's how he bust case the second time. But when you actually look at the evidence and when you read further into the case, you see that it is more than likely that he was telling the truth and that he was indeed innocent. I don't feel like all of his relationships with young boys were appropriate. But I don't think he was. I personally struggle to accept that he's a child molester. That he was a child molester, rather. But I do believe if he was, then he's with God and he'll get his punishment if he was. And if he wasn't, or the people that falsely accused him, they will get their punishment because those accusations ruined.
Yeah, they're very mad accusations. So let me ask you 2 questions then.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
number 1, I think you kind of answered the second one, to be fair, but I'll ask it anyway. First question: if it was, God forbid, if it was a member of your family, a little nephew or whatever, or you know, say if it's like one of us lot as your boys, one of our kids were brought up in this, and let's say, because obviously you look up to Michael Jackson as an artist or whatever, and he's obviously kind of a previous generation. Let's say this generation's kind of top musical stars. So someone like Drake, for example. Yeah. So say if those same accusations came up that Drake was moving mad, because I mean, to be fair, similar accusations are coming out right now anyway.
Yeah.
That say Drake was moving mad with a younger, and it was someone that you knew, or potentially your kid, or someone that you consider a nephew or whatever, or a niece. Let's keep it all the way open. How would you react to that in this current day and age? So
hands.
Put in the same situation, but just swapping Michael Jackson for Drake.
Hands.
Yeah.
Hands. No talking. Hands. The thing. In fact, I'm glad that you said that. You see, with Michael Jackson, the first accusation that he faced, the dad said that his boy told him that he was molested or whatever, and he said he went to Michael Jackson. And I read how the meeting is supposed to have gone. Apparently, the dad hugged Michael Jackson. Blah, blah, blah. It was all cordial. And then he said, "Look, this is what my son's saying, this, that, and the other." And I sort of think, obviously, I'm not a parent right now, so I can't speak from that perspective. But obviously, you are, and Carl, you're about to be. I can't imagine that my kid would have told me something like that, and my first reaction is to go and hug the man. I don't care if you're Michael Jackson. I don't care if you're Mike Tyson. I don't care if it's The Rock. If my kid has said that,
I don't know, hands on Mike Tyson might get a bit sticky.
It might, but you know what? I tried.
Yeah, I tried.
I hear that. I gave it a good go. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I swung.
No, I get exactly where you. I get exactly what you're saying.
And in any case, well, I'm not just if it was me, first, I'm not gonna myself and say something that I shouldn't, but I wouldn't just be hands. I would take other things.
I get what you're saying. You don't have to incriminate yourself, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
and I agree.
Because it's a serious thing. It's a really serious thing, and that's why I feel like with R. Kelly, a lot of the people, I saw someone say on Twitter or something like that they feel like, obviously, Terry Crews, he got touched up by someone, and they said that where Dame Dash is different, he slapped Harvey Weinstein, and Terry Crews let himself get fondled by a white man. First of all, I would argue that those are false equivalences, because Harvey Weinstein isn't going to stop Dame Dash from getting work.
Yeah.
Secondly, when Dame Dash was around and about R. Kelly, he didn't have that same energy. And he says, and he's constantly talking about how much...
He was in the video.
Yeah, he was. Popping.
He was there in the video doing shoulders, bro.
Yeah. So, that's why I would say it's a false equivalent, and it's, it's not like, it's not the same energy. I feel like, again, in the case of R. Kelly, a lot of the parents, at least one of them, should have put hands on him by now. I can't believe that he's been accused of this thing. He's been getting accused of this thing for 20 plus years.
Yeah. And
no one has put hands on. I don't believe that his goons are that tough. Especially, think about it like this year. On EastEnders, Phil Mitchell has been about for 28 years or something like that.
He's been about.
At this point, he's old. So someone could, at least, they might not be able to properly beat him up, but they'll stick at least 2 or 3 on him.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
So, you know what I mean? I feel like someone should have R. Kelly, but...
Yeah, R. Kelly should have been dealt with.
And Michael Jackson was not hard. I can't imagine.
The thing is, though, we talk about these, man. we talk about Harvey Weinstein, we talk about R. Kelly. None of them have the, because let's bring it down to a more attainable level. So let's talk about the roads then, and or even just not even the roads, just ends in general, or even like uni, for example. And there are certain name brand guys that are about, and then there's always that top guy. Now R. Kelly was a name brand guy, Harvey Weinstein, name brand guy. Michael Jackson was the guy on ends. Like, there's consequences for touching any name brand guy like that.
That is true.
When it's the top guy, you're gonna think twice. No matter how mad you are, you're gonna think, "Yo, that's the guy." There's bigger consequences. I might die here. I'm never gonna come off here looking good from this, regardless of how this goes. So I can kind of, whilst I would want to say, yeah, listen, I'll deal with man regardless, and I will sit here and puff my chest up and say, yeah, I would want to deal with man regardless. In that situation, I might move a little bit different. I'm not gonna say that I'm hug man.
I know what you mean. But certainly, you wouldn't go okay with him. You're not gonna hug him and be all cordial. Like, you'll let him know, Phil. Even if you like, okay, you don't want to. You might not want to let the situation get to a point where there's violence, because that violence, it could be life threatening. But you'll let the person know how you feel, and you'll have probably gone to the police before you go to them anyway.
Yeah, true.
So
it's a real because it's hard. If you haven't been in the situation, it's really hard.
Yeah, of course.
Properly imagine what you would do. But I find it extremely difficult to conceive a situation where I turn up to do something like that to someone and end up hugging them.
It's impossible.
That's what's bad.
Like
that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, I'm not saying that there's a chance that Michael Jackson wasn't guilty. Of course there is. But in my humble opinion, my limited knowledge on how the world works, obviously you can't just like this. Like I spoke about EastEnders earlier. Life ain't an episode of EastEnders. You can't throw hands without consequences. In real life. But in that sort of scenario, especially in America, they view these things a bit differently to how they view things here. In this country, they're very much, let the police do their job. We don't appreciate you trying to do the police's job for them. In America, they will take into account what actually took place and what led to the violence taking place, and they might actually say, you know what, don't do it again.
Unless you're black,
yeah, that's true. But in Michael Jackson's case, these weren't black men. If in R. Kelly's case, these were white men or white girls or whatever. I don't mean to sound harsh or whatever. And I don't want anyone to think that I want it to happen to white girl. I absolutely don't.
No, I know where you're gonna go though.
But let's be clear that if they were black girls, then R. Kelly would be languishing in jail right now.
If it was white women, yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. So,
and I feel like that's unfair. And with Michael Jackson, because it was white boys who accused him, and the fact that he got off, also leads me to sort of believe maybe he didn't do it.
Okay, I see what you do.
I hear that. So, with that in mind, and obviously going back to the R. Kelly comparison again, obviously we've seen this documentary, and I mean, to be fair, it's slightly different because nobody was ever in doubt that R. Kelly was a nasty piece of work. Everyone knew this.
Yeah.
With Michael Jackson, it's up in the air. Yeah, some people definitely believe it. Some people absolutely refuse to believe it. I'm kind of somewhere in the middle where I don't really know, but it looks kind of mad. Now, if this documentary comes out now, and there's like they're saying there's some mad proof that is very difficult to ignore. If that becomes the case now, and I'm asking you as a man who I know to hold Michael Jackson in very high regard, how does that affect? And especially as you've talked about how obviously from a childhood thing you've been listening to that from early, and you tie that into elements of your family. How does that? What happens in the mind of Ilemo if that comes out, and
Well,
you have to look at that and say, man's a nonce. What happens in your head then?
okay. So, first of all, I'm not even sure if I watched the documentary. But secondly, again, I'll go back to the trial. If these people were telling the truth now, there's no way that evidence would have been concealed in 2005 that can now come out in 2019. That evidence probably would have been more fresh in 2005 than it would be in 2019.
Is it that they've got? Is it new evidence that they're claiming?
I don't know.
Or...
I don't know. They just said they've got information that is hard to ignore. I'm pretty sure that was the quote.
I don't know, but I do know that in the particular case of Wade Robson, he wanted to direct or something. He wanted to take part in some way in the Michael Jackson Cirque du Soleil show.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
In like 2009, approached the estate. Not 2000. Sorry, about 2011. He approached the estate, and they basically said "fuck off." Like, and then not long after that, I think I read that he went into marriage. He had some marital problems. He also had some financial. So he tried to sue the state for 1.5 billion or something like that.
Oh,
yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the exact figure is. Don't quote me on that. But I know he tried to sue the estate. Now, when the whole stuff about Jimmy Savile came out, I don't remember anyone trying to sue Jimmy Savile's estate. They just wanted justice.
Well, this is the thing. But I don't know. There's a difference.
You can't get justice you can't get justice from a dead man anyway. But what they like, it's not like they asked for money. They asked for. They just, like he had his knighthood struck off. There were all sorts of things that happened after all the Jimmy Savile stuff came out. I remember.
But is that one of the cultural England and America?
What do you mean?
In England, people don't really. You don't. Well, I don't anyway. The wrong media outlets. You don't sort of hear of those cases such as that where people are looking for the award of money. But I feel like that happens quite a lot in America.
There is a definite lawsuit culture in America. That is definitely a thing.
Yeah, but what happens as well is if you take someone to, like, for instance, if you take someone to trial or something like that, after the win that case, then you get some civil damages anyway. I think that's the thing here as well. So
yeah, but it's not much, and not more time. Them civil damages are just covering the cost of your legal fees. That tends to be what that is. But like me personally, I like the American model. Like, listen, if someone's done you wrong, like, I say aim for what you can get, and let the court decide if they want to tone that down. Like, yeah. Trust me, like, at the end of the day, if I'm taking you to court, especially over something like this, you've caused me a lot of pain. Yeah. Now, you having your reputation gone is one thing, but what's going to cause you most pain is me hitting you in your very deep pockets. Yeah. I'm not trying to do no moral high ground thing of, I want justice. No, I want you to feel pain like I'm feeling pain. I'm going through all this shit to go into court. Like, listen, no, this is going to burn you as well, bro.
But you're finished.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to learn, bro.
It's hard. It's hard to. I think the first thing that I've got to do is separate. Not even separate the man from the music. Actually, I feel like that is bullshit in itself. But in the case of Michael Jackson, me liking it has no real bearing on what I feel about the case. I very much like R. Kelly's music. It got to a point where I had to realise and have a conversation with my own say, you know what you believe in your heart that this man is. You can't keep listening to his music, especially now that we know that these relationships or whatever, well, I can't really call them relationships. No one, like all of them were regular. They were very regular, and a lot of it came out in the music. I can't listen to You Are Not Alone the same way anymore after watching that documentary.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm not even listening. You know what? I'm not even really listening to any music like in such a long time because so much music from like the 90s and whatever. It's got R. Kelly stink all over it.
Yeah, it is, man.
And even
he's
the
also
early,
got a massive catalogue, a massive footprint on that catalogue as well.
The writing credits as well. The writing credits.
That's it, yeah.
I feel like, again, you know what I will say? I feel like a lot of the who said, "Oh, I'm pulling his music from my street." It's all performative because there's no way you could tell me that in the R. Kelly, who was accused of marrying a in 1994, you can't tell me that in 2019, oh, this is the first time I'm hearing that this man is a singer.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Bullshit. You knew, but he was making you money, so you looked the other way. So,
Absolutely. You're not wrong there at all, bro. Absolutely not wrong there. And I think that's a very good segue into one of the main topics that I want to talk about today, which is just men and trash behavior, right?
boy.
So
we could be here all day doing this.
Oh, we definitely could. We definitely could.
I mean, throughout history, for even like if you read, I don't know if you've ever read the Bible, but if you read the Bible,
yeah, I have read the Bible. Yeah, it's a very, it's interesting.
If you read the Bible, then you know that throughout history, men have been trash.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people.
We know what that is, and you know, it's excuse. We make excuses for men's behavior. That's what it comes down to.
Of course. The whole not all men. If you know you're not a piece of shit, then what they're saying doesn't apply to you anyway.
Speak on it. Yeah, man.
Do you know what I mean? So when you say that, you're in your feelings for no real reason.
Yeah. Well, the reason is that you know that it's boning you. And I spoke on the last week's episode actually about the Gillette advert, and obviously they were talking about, you know, how it's like, hey, certain men move mad, men should do better, men can do better, rare, and you know, men are out here kicking off, and it's like, big man, what is wrong about the message of hey, men can do better? That's pissing you off so badly. Like, why do you feel entitled to act this way? Like, you know, without being called up on it.
Without consequence.
You get me?
Oh, I'm throwing away all of my Gillette products. Okay, well done.
You see the man that threw in his toilet like a prick. So he threw in his toilet, and then someone tweeted him and said, right, there's only two things that's going to happen here. That's going to get clogged up in your toilet's going to get blocked, and you're not going to know how to use your toilet. Number one, if you flush that. Or number two, after you finish tweeting this, you're going to dig that out of the toilet and put your hand in piss water.
And you use it in your face.
You know what I mean?
What then?
Big idiot. Big idiot.
Fucking prick.
The thing is, so, I don't want to rehash that topic so much, but more so, as men, and particularly in relationships, firstly, why do a lot of men move mad? And also, why do a lot of women put up with that shit? Because, like, I have friends, obviously male friends and female friends, and they come and talk to me about their relationships. And I'm not going to bait out anybody or whatever, because obviously it's not my place to do that. But particularly with girls, whether they're talking to me personally or just talking out in general about relationships and the bad side of relationships and things like that, it's kind of like, well, how are you letting this run? You know, what standards are you setting for yourself that you're allowing this? Like,
first, Carl.
Okay, so my opinion on this. So I don't know. I guess. Right. Okay. So
I was trying to debate himself right now.
I think it just comes down to the sort of like the basic instincts that humans have, and in that obviously we are just living creatures on Earth, and the main priority for a living creature is to reproduce, right? There is a process that if you look at any sort of, if we just look at specifically at animals, if you like watch like a nature documentary about animals and how their structures work, how their societies work, how their communities work, they have like the alpha male who has access to all the females, and all the females are looking for the chance to mate with the alpha male. They'll reject certain males, and it's that perception of the male that has access to resources, the male that's going to contribute genetics to the to give their offspring the best chance in life. And I think the way that people behave and the people accept it, from things like the way that certain men will look for more than one woman, or certain women will look for the men who have the most amount of money, or blah blah blah, whatever characteristics.
Yeah, but
I think it all be
these,
linked
man,
back
it's not alpha males that we're talking about though, because
I'm not
complaining about man that get sent to the shops.
No.
Like,
I'm not saying
these are not
alpha
big
male.
deal, man.
I'm saying it. I think there might be some people who will perceive that behavior, alpha male behavior, because there is something about this particular male that other women want, other females of the species want. So there must be something that he has access to that they're not aware of.
Right, that's an interesting take to it, huh?
And I think that's what drives. That's why you hear about he's cheated on me 10 times, but I love him. He's been with like 1,000 women, but I love it, because there's like because they might think that he has access to a scarce resource. And I think it's just basic human instinct taking like a modern form. And the point I'm just making is like haven't evolved, is it?
I would say it's like all of a sudden maybe you've got access to something that you didn't have access to before, and now you don't know what to do.
Yeah, I hear.
And like in terms of the people who get treated like shit and stay, sometimes it's fear of the unknown.
What do you mean unknown though? Like everyone comes into this world single. We know what single feels like.
That is true, but it's like, okay, let me put it like this, yeah. After I first had jollof rice, I couldn't imagine life.
I can't take this guy.
I couldn't imagine moving forward without jollof rice. Do you know what I mean? So
you're
for
saying
some
this
people,
as if you'd only had jollof rice late in life. You're a Nigerian, man.
No, but you know what? Like,
first of all, you went literally straight from breast milk to jollof rice. Secondly, secondly, Nigerian jollof rice isn't even top tier jollof rice like that. So I don't know why you're even stressed.
Right? Do you know what?
You man are like top 5, maybe.
Top 5.
Top 5.
Nah, top 4. At least.
What do you mean? So hold on, we're talking. So we're talking Senegal, Ghana. Them man, I got better jollof than you, man. Cameroon jollof.
You know what? Let me just dead this right now. I don't more than I say on this topic.
Carl, I'm in his head, bro.
Anyway, the point is, when you experience something, what you feel to be good, you don't want to know. You might not want to know what life is without that. Do you know what I'm saying? And in turn, with like bad relationship, maybe some of the benefits of some of the relationship will be like, oh, if I lose this person, then I'm not going to get this anymore, and I don't want to know what it is without that. When after you've had that, I mean, it's you can get better, but you don't at the time. You won't necessarily see it as that, because you'll think like it's not going to get any better than this.
Okay, so to be fair, without beating up my friends and whatever, these are very familiar, sentences that I'm hearing. But again, let me go back to my original point. Everybody knows what being single is like. So imagine now, like, I'm in a relationship, I'm happy in my relationship. If, God forbid, that this thing falls apart, there is no fear of the unknown. I know what not being in a relationship feels like.
But you know what that is?
If I'm in a situation where I'm unhappy, or I feel like this isn't, the right relationship, or I'm not being treated well or whatever, if I can look and say, hey, this is bad, what am I staying for? Why am I putting up with that? Because if I know this isn't making me happy, then clearly I know I deserve better. I know I can have better because I know what happy feels like, and this ain't it. What am I doing here?
Okay, can I ask you a question?
Go.
At this juncture of your life, would you say that you're more secure in yourself now than you were 10 years ago?
Yes, because 10 years ago I was a prick.
No, but you're more secure in yourself, so therefore you're not afraid of the unknown. You're more willing to embrace it. For some people, they're not secure enough in themselves to be able to embrace the unknown, which is why sometimes they'll stay in shitty situations. It's not just relationships.
We're not talking about kids here, though. We're talking about people in their 20s, bro. We're talking about grown people who know themselves, who, the people I speak to will look and say, I know I deserve better.
I think
you can still have all of those
people know themselves.
Bro, like there are 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds who have been in abusive relationships for years. If you have a conversation with them outside, you would think, oh, this person knows what they're doing. But that element of their life, they're afraid of the unknown. They don't know what will happen if they leave.
So, this is what I'm trying to get to.
Age isn't really a factor. Age isn't really a factor. It's about being secure enough in yourself. In my opinion, don't take this as the gospel, but in my opinion, I would say that
I've got you on here because I want your opinion. But also, that is the point I'm trying to make, is that, there are people that you will look and say, this person is not a dickhead in life. I know this person outside of their house. I know this person within their house. I also know that they're in a situation that they're not happy with. They're telling me these details and stuff. And it's like, what is it about being in a relationship that turns so many women fool?
Not just women, men too.
Yeah, true.
But obviously, I know in this particular instance, because we're talking about trash men.
Yeah,
I don't know. I really don't know. It could be penis, to be quite honest.
Some people
run that again, because you cut out, bro. Say that again.
Some people.
I think he's saying some people self-sabotage.
Okay, yeah.
Unconsciously. Some people, for example, maybe something in their life has switched the switch in their brain that tells them they're not allowed to be happy, or whatever they get given, they should accept it graciously, and that's the best that they're going to get, and they allow themselves to fall into those situations and stay in
This is also true.
Some people think they aren't going to do it any better, genuinely, like not an active thought, but
again, that boils down to self-security.
Yeah.
If you're not secure in yourself, then of course you will believe that you don't deserve anything good, and what's happened, the bullshit that you're enduring or whatever, even if you're not happy with it, you'll feel like, well, it's not going to get any better, but it does. I think.
Let me pull up a comment that someone in the chat has just said. My boy Roy, who needs to sort himself out and get on some of these podcasts, he said, we are creatures of habit, so most people stay in a shitty situation because that change in routine.
Yo, quickly, I need to go for a piss. Hold on. I'm going to put my phone down.
All right.
One sec.
Yeah. So,
but actually, I'll take it with me. I'll listen.
Bro, I swear to God, if I hear a single droplet on my podcast, I'm going to lose.
2 seconds.
Sort your mate out,
Listen, this is your boy, man. Yeah. So, hey, Carl, let me run this sentence back again. So, Roy says, we're creatures of habit, so most people stay in a shitty situation because that change in routine is what's scary.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, this was something that I was speaking to someone about very recently. I think the easiest way to see people who are in a relationship, teenagers, that relationship lasts till they're in sort of like mid to late 20s and they stay together, even though they've grown up to become different people, that sort of thing. That is something that's where you see that it's like they don't know how to live their lives without each other because they've been together for so long. They've grown together, but they've grown apart. Yeah, I feel that. I agree with him.
I don't think it's a bad shout either. See, the thing is as well, I feel like, and obviously I'm not a woman, never been a woman, so this is just me speculating based on information that
You can
has been
identify
presented
how
to
you.
me. Yeah. But I feel like women also get told to look at a man's potential and get hung up on that.
Yo.
And it's like, yo, I'll go on your back, yeah? So it's like
Sorry, this
when
water thing.
you're moving mad.
Free. I'm trying to do today.
Yeah, so women look a lot at men's potential, or at least what they see as the potential of a situation. So
Can I just quickly say something?
go on.
We're not women, so we can never really understand what it's like.
No,
from a
I
woman's
did
perspective.
I did preface this statement with that literally just before you came back on the mic. I said I'm not a woman,
Okay.
never been one, but just based on information that I've been given and seen, patterns
So
that I've
ultimately-
identified. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And
Ultimately, you can only really know how you would react in a certain situation. You can only know how it would be. I feel like as what we can talk about though is how do we as men help other men do better.
well, that's what I was going to get onto. That's
Sorry.
what I was going to get onto straight after this. So, my point about women and like potential, either it's potential men or potential in a situation, and this is fresh on the mind because one of my friends has just gone through a breakup and it's been a bit shit. And I've been saying to her, like, you know, this man was never serious. Like, from when you was first telling me about man, like, I knew man weren't serious. And, you know, she, quote unquote, saw something in him, saw some good in him, saw that this maybe might go somewhere, whatever. You get me? All of that. We've heard that before. We've been there before. In a past life, I feel like I can say we weren't necessarily the upstanding pillars of the community that we are now. So we know what this we know what that talk means. Yeah. And to an extent, man has let her believe that. Yeah. He said, okay, you wanna believe that, I'll show you that. And
now
that this is kind of phased out and she's mad upset about things that really and truly people have been telling her from day one about certain men. And this isn't just like man trying to ruin next man's market or whatever. Like, it's just, this is information you've given me about a certain man. I can tell you already this man is not serious about anything serious. And you know, she's still burning about the fact that, you know, this has fizzled out and whatever. I'm looking and saying, you broke this off because you know it isn't good for you. You've taken yourself out of the situation. The only thing that's hurting you is the loss of what you thought this was going to be. You had a picture in your head that, you know, either you could change this man or that this situation was going to blossom into this or blossom into that. And it hasn't done that. And that's what's burning you. And you were willing to put up with nonsense for how long? Because you had this picture of some potential in your head. And now that that's not there, you're bunning. But
I think sometimes one thing that some men struggle with, I think at age, it's not just age, maturity, and bravery, I guess. Being honest about your intentions.
ooh,
When I was younger, I think I might not have always been as honest with my intentions.
listen, man said when he was younger, bro. Man's talking about situations that happened 2 weeks ago. Carry on.
Huh? Huh?
That first that had pain behind it, bro. That was
Stop that.
But anyway,
You said it casually.
moving swiftly on.
Go on, carry on, bro.
Like,
so
like,
in the
I feel
past, in the distant past, when you weren't quite as
very
honest
very
as you are
distant
now.
past. Yeah, I feel like that sometimes. So in this particular situation, this young lady that you're talking about, maybe the guy hasn't been honest with his intentions, or maybe she wasn't honest with hers. or even possibly,
Mm.
at the beginning, they may have wanted the same things.
And that changed.
Yeah, like that does happen, and I feel like sometimes people expect you, like, just because you like me or whatever, I can change my mind. Anything could happen in between then, and rather than, obviously it's not to dismiss her feelings, but rather than being upset about it, like, just chalk it up, charge it to the game, as they say, chalk it up as an L, chalk it up as an L, and move
Take
on.
the lesson. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and to be fair, I don't disagree with that at all.
But that obviously only works. Both were honest with their intentions at the beginning.
Yeah, if they were both honest with their intentions and he just switched up, then yeah.
Yeah.
But in this particular situation, it wasn't that. At least from my understanding, it was, it was a
when
casual
people
thing. It was a casual thing, and she saw potential that, hey, I like this guy. I'm like, listen, it's not serious. Don't expect it to suddenly become serious. And then it got to a point where she was like, "Yo, what's good? What's happening?" The kind of what are we sort of situation. And that question goes one of two ways. Well, it goes one of three ways. It's either yes, I give you the answer you want, as in yes, cool, we're serious now, we're exclusive, whatever, or it goes no, I don't want to be exclusive. I want to keep doing my thing over here, and I'm enjoying the pumps whilst you present that. Or the option number three. Let's keep it real.
Choice of elect.
And the option number three is, we'll keep going. Maybe there's a maybe. We'll renew this discussion in 2 months. We'll we'll keep this going. We'll keep stringing.
We'll extend the trial period.
Exactly. Yeah. That 30-day trial period. I'm just gonna, disconnect my internet and try that again for another 30 days. Like, new email.
I'm logging in with a new email.
Yeah. So those are the three ways that sort of thing can go. And essentially, she said to me, what are we? What's good? And he was like, I'm just chilling, sort of thing. And obviously, that wasn't the answer that was wanted.
But it's better. It's better that, like, she got that out of the way early. Rather than, like, waiting for a wedding ring and just growing old, and then they break it off, or she breaks it off, and
first of all,
you've taken too long. And next thing,
can
she looks at her time in the 2 months.
Because man's under duress in his part of the world right now. So can we have a listen to that wedding ring talk there? Yeah.
But she's waiting. Then she breaks up with him, and then 2 months later, she logs onto her timeline and sees that he's engaged or whatever. She just broke her own heart.
Yeah,
that's mental. But I think in those situations,
that's mental. Anyway,
that is pretty mental, though, isn't it?
Like, it's very sticky.
But I think in those situations, I think I think this with breakups, it's not that what the other person has done is confused, has upset you. It's the fact that you was on a completely different page. It makes you almost doubt your own ability to assess the situation. I think that's the difficulty.
Also, if you most people like to sort of have an idea of where it's going. If that relationship sort of breaks up, it can filter. If it affects you that badly, it can filter into other parts of your life.
Oh yeah, massively, yeah. But let alone what it's going to do to future relationships.
Yeah, that's it, and that's kind of where I wanted to go as well. Is that when women do put up with, I guess we can say, slackness or trash behavior or whatever from man, and then
bullshit.
Let's call it what it is. And then when that bar just gets set so low, and that just, it's like, why is that? I think because, for example, then with men, for the most part, I think it's fair to say we've all probably been in an unfavorable relationship or an unpleasant relationship. I've definitely had my fair share of them, and I can look at that, and the man around me will look at that and say, listen, this is you, this is your level. That treatment there is below your level. You're better than that. You're better than that treatment. Yeah. Level up. Go back again. And I feel like man don't let each other lower their own standards of how they will be treated. We'll get into a discussion of how men kind of can let man treat their girlfriend a bit mad, and obviously there's a discussion to be had about that. But for a man, if you man saw me in a relationship and that relationship had me just stressed out, feeling shit all the time, and I let you man know about that, you don't look at me and say, big man, what are you doing? Fix up. Or even if it's one of the ones where you don't get involved whilst I'm in the relationship, because obviously that can get sticky. If the thing gets cut off, it's like, yo, okay, big man, that was a dickhead thing. You're better than that. You don't, in whatever way you want to put that, whether it's just a simple, yeah, she was a dickhead anyway, to a big man, you deserve better, rare, along that spectrum. And men will keep their standards pretty much to where they are. Men don't settle very easily, at least in terms of treatment. For the most part, there are obviously examples where men are out here being taken for dickheads, and it is a thing. Whereas I don't feel like that's always the case with girls, and girls are more prone to talk to their friends about relationships as well. But then it's like, how does the bar continually get lower to the point where man will look and say, why are you settling for bare minimum?
Do you know, I think this goes back to what I was saying about the evolutionary psychology side to it. And I think it just goes down to the bottom line that as we've progressed as a species, the males of the species believe they can have the pick of the females that will have them, whilst the females of the species are trying to secure the best male that they can.
But then it's not the best male, though, because if you're looking and saying, okay, I want to get the best man I can, rare, and this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. Surely that then establishes a minimum standard. But then these girls are like, oh, I can't wait to have a man that goes home and makes me dinner for once. Like, babes, the bar is on the floor right now. Like, what is going on?
You know what?
You're moving back for a man that will cook for you and make you a cup of tea, and this is relationship goals. Like, okay, where is the bar?
Let me put it. Let me say it like. I'll say the same over and over again. It's all. If you are securing, get treated like shit. Do you know what I mean?
Say that again. You cut out. Say that again.
If you are securing yourself, more likely than not allow yourself to be treated like shit. You can't control how someone else treats you, but you can control how you take it.
Absolutely, and that is the pure crux of this argument.
I would say that I wouldn't say that girls don't have people around who say he's a dickhead, leave him. I would just say sometimes they'll ignore, not just they'll ignore. There's plenty of guys as well. Kind of have a conversation with your boy, say, look, this situation is a bit mad. You should probably walk away. And then the next week, you see him hand in hand, grinning from ear to ear like a dickhead with that girl.
And it's with like, bass. I said that with bass.
And then you'll just be like, oh, okay, so I wasted my words for what? Yeah. And it's the same thing. It's the same with girls. And as a friend, sometimes you can find a situation that friendship can turn sour because she or he have gone and told their other half what you have said, and then all of a sudden now you can't allow that friend to be around you your man, so you got to make a choice, or you can't allow that to be around you while you're with a girl, and you got to make a choice. And more often than not, people will choose the option that serves their genitals the best.
Exactly, man. Picking the pumps all day. Listen, I'm not gonna lie, bro. You guys are my guys, but if it came between you and my girl, bro, you man are not.
Yeah, I expect nothing less.
Okay,
but in your in your situation, that's the mother of your children as well. So
I'm not gonna
I
lie,
would
bro.
expect
Kids or
it.
no kids, bro. Yeah, yo. I'm born you, man.
but you know what I mean. I think that's also
No, but I know what you're saying.
struggling. Yeah, thank you.
So to tell you what I think there could be a difference with this. Obviously, because we're talking in general terms, we're not talking about every single male or every single female. But if I imagine a situation where there's two people in a relationship, if a female cheats on the male, I think the male's first thoughts are what was wrong with me. I think the male's first thoughts are, or maybe the lasting thoughts are likely to be, there was something wrong with her to want to do that.
Yeah.
And I think
pause for 1 second.
Versa.
Pause hold that thought for a second, because now I'm going to go to the toilet. So, 2 seconds.
Oh man.
Pause. To be some hold music. You are listening to.
This is the time for me to play stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, play some stuff on the channel.
Bear your about, to be honest. Something I can't do it, man. But yeah, boy.
So what is your like next step with the channel? What is like, as in like your next immediate step, not long term goal? What is your next immediate step?
Next immediate step was just be to upload more. Do a little bit of promo. Go to like Nigerian blogs and stuff like that.
Okay.
Because I think like because some you see, because people listen to that music still. It's like if I did the channel and put up loads of the Temptation, a lot of stuff. It's like that. I don't have to really promote it that much because people listen to that music anyway. Look for YouTube, this and the other.
Yeah.
So all I would need to do is what I need to do is attract some more traffic to the channel. But obviously, one of the things I need to do, I need to add more videos and stuff. Anyway, let's carry on.
Okay. So, Carl, you were saying.
I was saying. Okay, yes. So I think the thought that would occur to a typical man, and the thoughts that the male's friends would be providing is there must be something wrong with her.
Yeah, she
for her to cheat on you. However, the other way round, I think a typical woman is more likely to think what was wrong with me to make him not want me. And I think that's the difference in where like you
what
have
did
like,
she have?
What did she have that I didn't have? Because I can't think of a situation where you hear the words like, can you imagine a man saying, is it because he was funnier than me? Is it because he had more money? Is it because he can bench more? But I can imagine, is she prettier? You know what I mean?
Okay. All jokes aside though, Carl, man might not say that. Man will probably think that though.
Maybe.
You'll think it. You might
not
think
me,
it,
bro.
but...
Not me, bro. Not me.
You're joking. No, but differently. I can say if that happened, that was the thing. I might look at myself. I'm gonna look and obviously think, yeah, she's a dickhead for doing that. But I might look and say, am I levels? Now, obviously, the answer to that.
Am I levels?
Now, obviously, the answer to that is almost always yes. I am very much levels, but for that moment, I'm gonna doubt myself. I'm gonna look and say,
I guess so. Yeah.
Because you know, in the back of my own, I'm thinking, firstly, I could have swore I was levels. And then I look and say, well, suddenly, all of a sudden now, maybe there's something wrong with me. Maybe I need to pat.
But have you looked in and put yourself under?
Say again.
Make you put yourself under.
That's a bit under observation and things there, but properly.
Yeah. No, but you would.
You would definitely. You might not put it out there and say it the same way women do. Yeah. Oh, what did she have? Again, I didn't. I'm gonna look and say, you know what, man's got the whip. Man's got the 22s. I see man's Gucci belt. Maybe that's what the girls are into. Because you think about it, when men lose their girl to someone, the next thing they do is try and see, okay, what are the girls into? What are they trying to do? what they're trying to see, and they'll switch up something about themselves. They won't vocalize that, but they'll switch up something about themselves and say, okay, cool, maybe I'm not dressed fly enough, maybe I'm not doing this, maybe I need a better paying job, maybe this, that, the other, and they'll try and change an aspect, whatever they can change in the short term, they'll try and do that, you know.
I can't lie right now because my hairline, if she left me for a man that had, if she left me for a guy with a proper hairline,
you get the tiger haircut.
Okay.
I'm going to the hair clinic straight away, bro.
Okay, another thought on that note in response to that. So, just the things that you mentioned. So they're all things that I think would probably be universally deemed as self-improvement. Dressing better, getting a better job, etc., etc. Okay, if you flip it onto flip the genders, what things would a female that has been cheated on look to improve, in your opinion? Obviously, we don't know because we're not females, but
sure.
I don't think those things that a female would imagine that the girl that he cheated with had are things that would be universally like improvement things. Would you?
Sometimes it's just greed. Like, she can't do nothing about that. She can't do nothing about his greed.
But I guess it kind of would be.
It's hard to say, you know.
A woman's view on this. Yeah. But then there is the issue of accountability in that. Of obviously from a cheating standpoint, obviously it's all on whoever cheated. That's their problem. But then, like, if we kind of roll it back and say relationships failed, you know, how often do women look and say, "Hey, it was my fault"? You know, I'll be honest with you now.
From personal experience, they don't.
I very recently, for the first time, got an apology from an ex. I'm not going to bait out who. You might could probably imagine who. But from a long time, that was obviously a very unfavorable situation that I was in. Very recently, like I said, you know, I was going through some shit. I didn't really act right, and it took me some time to go away, you know, look back at myself and realize that, you know, maybe I didn't act the best possible way. And it's like I was baffled. Like I must have been looking at it all kind of crazy, because in my head I'm thinking, hold on, is this the same person? What accountability? What the fuck is going on here? Sort of thing. I was completely baffled. But that is one of a number, which I'm not taking out. But it's so. I guess kind of women's approach to that is, I guess, if the initial thing is that, hey, it was, you know, this fell apart because of the man, and I'm not going to acknowledge my part in this. And this is obviously a massively sweeping generalization here. But then do they look at themselves to try and better themselves, or is it like, well, it's fine, I'll get a next man?
Nah, right. From my personal, I would say that it could be just little things that will do it, that will have you like moving mad, and it's little things that they've done, but won't take responsibility. And even if it'll just be flipped onto you as, oh, you know, you can't this or whatever, and then all of a sudden you're looking at the situation, like by the time you finish the conversation and she's taking it there, you're now looking at yourself, I've done the wrong, when you haven't. And so when everything is all said and done, and the relationship is done and everything like that, at the end, it will look like you will even start to feel for a little bit it's your fault, when in reality it's not. They've contributed, but they won't acknowledge their contribution because they didn't acknowledge that contribution when you brought it out with them at the time.
I think we've all been there.
Yeah. And so that's one thing I would say is very, very annoying.
Okay. But again,
it's a maturity thing. when
Yeah.
you're dealing with someone, this myth that girls mature quicker than boys, I'd say it works up until maybe once you both hit 18. Once you're both 18, believe me, they are every bit as childish as they think you are.
Oh, of course, 100%. And let me not get it twisted.
Not
Man are childish out here. Man
general.
are childish out here. Let me not
It's a
lie.
generalization,
Yeah, of course it is.
but let's just be clear.
Okay, but on that topic of man also being childish and behaviors and such, so us now as big men, if you saw me moving mad in whatever manner, and so if you obviously new yard or whatever, you man come over to the house and you observe my relationship with my girlfriend, and you see that hey, he's not really treating her too well. He's not really acting the way that he should be acting, and as my virgin that represents me, and I don't really want to see that, and just out of common decency, man was raised better than this. What's going on? What is your action? Do you pull me up on that, honestly? Or do you just kind of look and say, go back to the group chat? Ash was moving kind of mad, Like,
no, I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you.
And the thing is, I'm asking you, man, and I know you, man, better than that, so I know that you, man, are more likely to, pull man up on that, because it's the sort of people that we are. We can be very honest with each other. But if we say generally, do man do that? Do man pull up their man and say, yo, you're moving mad there?
I think you should, definitely.
I don't think, because sometimes people feel like, my place is between them, this and the because like I said before, you could talk to somebody or whatever and give them your honest thoughts, and then next thing you know, you're not friends with that person anymore, because like a fucking prick, they've gone and told that person what you said. Their conversation private.
No, but you're talking directly to the man now. You're talking to your.
Yeah, that's true. But sometimes in this kind of situation, like sometimes it can feel the other way, because it's like I don't want to get involved and have my name dragged into something that's got nothing to do with me.
But then, okay, and
but
I
of
get
course,
that from a self-preservation point.
If my friend is moving mad or whatever, like you said, my friend being a reflection of, the old saying, "Oh, show me your friend." Well, I think I'll talk to my friend and say, "Look, what you're doing, it's not right. This ain't who you are. It's certainly not who you are."
What sort of thing are we talking about?
Just generally, obviously, there's a whole spectrum of not acting right, but just okay. In fact, let me flip that back to you. What is the minimum that it would take for you to look at man and say, "Do better"? Tough one,
I think, yeah, like I can think of things that are past the line.
Okay, give me some of them. Give me some of them, and we'll work.
Well, like I don't want to see any of my pals like being physically abusive to their women.
Obviously, yeah, that's clearly past the line. Yeah. So let's work down from that.
Yeah.
Talking mad, like proper raised voices, talking in a intimidating manner to his half. Do you step in, or do you pull him to one side?
I wouldn't step in, because that's an argument between two people in a relationship, and as much as like you can be close friends with someone, you never know what's going on behind closed doors.
Okay, but that's going on in open.
Yeah, but what I mean is that might be the way their relationship. What I mean is that might be the way their relationship functions.
Is that healthy?
Who am I to say it's healthy or not? That might just be the way they function.
With eyes and ears.
Yeah, but like that might just be the way they work. They might be verbally abusive of each other, but it not actually mean anything. Do you get what I mean?
But for you to look and use that phrase, verbally abusive, Yeah,
Yeah.
that word is there,
Yeah.
abusive.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
But so this raises my point there, in that we can look at something like that, use the word abuse, and still be and ahhing about it. Of whether we talk to our boys and literally just anything as little as saying, "Hey, you're going a bit too far there. Hey, you might want to chill out there. Hey, that's not really. Hey, I feel a way about that." That's not a big thing to do, but
That's not
that bar there is where we're going to draw the line and say, I might not get involved in that. Like, and this isn't me just doing holier than now. This is me, observing what we do as men and what we're willing to let slide, and the actions that we're willing to kind of look and say, I don't need to say anything about that.
This is where the thing about men needing to help others better. In reality, we should be able to pull our friend over and say, look, you know what you did there was kind of nuts. As your friend, I don't want to see you do that again. But it's easier said than done.
Oh, 100%. I'm not out here acting like I'm the perfect man.
A lot of the things that we've all said tonight are situations that we're very unlucky to be in, so it's hard to say how you would react to a situation that you're very unlikely to be in.
Yeah, valid. But then
I think
would
you
like
can't.
to lower the bar further. I would like to lower that bar further into situations where, where we are, I guess, likely to be in, where, things that aren't necessarily, clearly abusive, but might be on the low, in a way that certain men talk to their girlfriends. And obviously, I kind of want you to remove yourself from the situation where it's, me or Carl or any of our boys, because we know the cloth that we're cut from. Yeah. But, just, imagine it's some of the man from uni that maybe we don't hang out with so closely. And, if we were around their yard, and just kind of the way that, sometimes man will act up in front of guests or whatever, and maybe talk to their girl a different way, or maybe just kind of, disregard how their girl's feeling, or where if he's like,
okay,
do you pull up man then? Because that's an even lower bar, where it's not, clearly abusive behavior, but it's obviously not the way that you would want to see someone that you cared about being treated. So do you pull up a man and say, yo, you gotta act better in them situations there. She's clearly upset. You ain't gotta flex for me. I'm just
Here's the thing.
Don't act mad.
You just said something now. He's acting different because you're there. How would I know that he's acting different because I'm there? Do you know what I mean? And
you know when man are flexing, really. You know when man are flexing. Because here's how you know it's different. You'll see it on that person's face.
Yeah. Okay, that's true. That is true.
You'll see that on there, and
let the people know that Carl had to go.
Say that again.
Carl had to go.
Oh, he had to shoot. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Well, I'll definitely put his links and stuff in the chat.
Sorry.
I'll put his links and stuff in the chat at the end of the podcast. Remind me.
Yeah.
So as me and you talk now, it's if men are flexing on their girl,
I don't know.
Then is that okay?
Because we'll get a private moment to talk, and if I remember, because I'm not going to bring it up right there and then and stick it on him in front of everybody. I think
no, it doesn't have to be like that. It can be a little pull to the side.
But if I remember, then maybe have a little chat with him or whatever. But it's like I said, it's easy for me to talk now because I'm not in the situation. If I'm in the situation, then I'll probably, I'll be able to give a better answer because I've never had a situation where someone is really, really, really mad. I've been there when people are arguing with their partners or whatever, but to say that I've been there when they've actually just been moving mad, like no argument, just being a dickhead because you can. I can't really say that I've been there.
Well, Roy in the chat says that he thinks people do pull people to the side, but the question is,
Yeah, they
do they
can.
listen?
They do.
Do
Yeah,
they actually, does the person actually listen? And that's a valid point. That is a valid point.
that's another thing. You know, you can say like before, isn't it? Like you can tell your friend, oh, you're in a bad situation. You should, probably leave that situation, do better. You know, you're better than this, and then you see them the next time looking like a prick and making you just seem like you were just waffling for no reason.
No, I hear that. And obviously, that is obviously a clear dynamic of that, and nobody enjoys it. Everyone's been in that situation, no one enjoys it.
Yeah, of course.
But
and then it's
does
your
that mean
name
you
that
still
gets dragged
ignore
through
your
the mud.
responsibility to do that, though? As a
Yeah,
man,
actually, that can put you off, because certainly for me, like sometimes I don't want to get involved because you'll try and help somebody and they throw it back in your face like that and have your name dragged through the mud because
Does
you're
it drag your name through the mud, though? Because all you look and then say
because
is,
they'll say
if you believe in what you say, then surely if they then try and flip that back on you, it's like, listen, okay, cool, you didn't want to listen to what I said, but I still stand by what I said in that moment. Whether it's the whole your girlfriend's not good for you, or whether it's the way you're moving towards your girl is a bit mad, they flip that back on you. It's like, okay, I still think you were moving mad in that situation. You've chosen not to listen. I've said what I need to say. I don't need to say it again. But you know how I feel about the behaviours there. Don't do that around me. You know what I mean? Because we can't be afraid of confrontation if we're talking about pulling man up and saying man need to act better. Because at the end of the day, we are sowing the seeds for how, as selfish as it sounds, for how the women in our life are going to be treated. If man don't pull me up, and if I don't, go and talk to my girlfriend and say, hey, how am I being? Can I be better? And if she don't tell me, yes, you can be better. Obviously, I should be able to look at myself and say, there are ways I can improve. But if she don't look at me and say, you can do better, or if people don't come around the house and say, hey, you're moving mad, if they see me because they're afraid of a confrontation, then it's like, well, you're enabling that behavior at the end of the day, and there's more people that are going to be victims of that behavior because I've got children here. They're going to see that. There's different ways that can manifest. Obviously, Jasmine can look and see this is how her dad is treating her mother. And I'm speaking hypothetically here, by the way. I don't want people thinking I'm out here moving mad in the yard. I'm miserable as shit, but I don't feel like I move mad. Put that out there. Jasmine might look and say, okay, well, this is how daddy treats mommy. And, that's going to establish a level of normalization for her. The same with Tio. Tio's going to look at me, his dad, and say, well, this is how my dad acts. This is the baseline for... Because how you view your parents is the baseline of how you believe adults act until you're old enough to have those thought processes yourself. That sets a baseline for you. And I'm just talking about this from the lens of a father. I have to act right because I'm trying to raise other people to act right. But not only that, even kids or no kids, if I'm going to have somebody give so much of their life to me, whether that they live with me or not, being in a relationship, you're giving a big chunk of your life and your energy to that person. Who am I to be too bad to be pulled up and have, criticism if I'm moving mad? And realistically, if I've got friends, I want my friends to be those people that are going to tell me that I'm moving mad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I would like to feel that, firstly, I don't feel like I would ever be in a situation where you're moving mad because I don't feel like you're a mad guy like that. But if you do move mad and I pull you to one side and I talk to you just on a level, because I'm not going to be out here just trying to drip shop saying, you're a dickhead, you're moving mad.
Yeah, I think some
say, big man, this is
people
cool.
to be performative.
If we can't talk about that, that's it. I'm not trying to be performative. But if I then pull you to one side and say, hey, you can do better, this ain't you, I don't know what's going on, but I'm not comfortable with what's going on right now. She's upset. I don't know what's going on here, but don't act like that in front of me because you're better than that. If you then decide that you're too big for that criticism, then at that point, I don't really have a problem evaluating our friendship because I might not want to be your friend after that. If this is the sort of person that you are, I have standards for my friends as well, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm a man who will pull up my friends on things like that. You know, I might not do it at the time or whatever, but I might look at them after and say, "Hey, that wasn't too hot right there," you know.
Yeah.
Fix up sort of thing. And you know, I feel like the question I'm posing as a whole is, as men, are we doing that enough? Are we, you know,
Doing
putting
enough to hold our friends accountable?
Yeah, and on men in
I
general,
would
and
say
saying
no.
men be better.
I would say no because I tell you, now that like we live in like this Me Too world and everything like that, I would say now ever we are, but in the past we most certainly were not. And even earlier, I think what we were talking about, like talking about with Michael Jackson saying, "Oh, we'll respond with hands" or whatever. That's not always necessarily the right way to go about it.
No, no.
And I think sometimes we go about these things in the wrong way, and it doesn't. We just end up making the situation worse.
Yeah.
And I think what we need to do as men is have like just real conversations, just talk. Sometimes there's nothing wrong in talk. If that person doesn't want to listen, then they won't. But at least you said your piece and your conscience is clear.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than knowing that you could have done something and that you didn't because, you know, for whatever reason.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, in that sense, we got to do better. Now, I hope that Liam Neeson has some friends around here that'll pull him to the side.
We're going to get on that in a second. We're going to get that in a second. I just want to raise the point, just the last point on this, from Roy again in the chat. He says, at the same time, let's say your mate is moving mad and his girl still stays with him. Does she need to hold some accountability for allowing the behaviour to continue and not ending it? And that goes full circle to what I was saying in this initial topic anyway. Get it out there, putting up with dickhead behaviour. And yes, there is some accountability in that. And I guess we still don't really have the answer as to why they allow this nonsense. I think part of it, as we've explored in this discussion, is that, you know, as you know, if the men around these situations are allowing this and not challenging it, you know, I guess, you know, can we then look at girls and say girls are dickheads for not challenging it as well? Like, no, well, yes, we can, but it's like, okay, you're a dickhead, but I'm also a dickhead.
I can't say you can say they're being dickheads because sometimes it's a bit more complex. I think we're oversimplifying it because it's a lot more complicated than, oh, she's just putting up with it. It's not. It's really not like that at all. But sometimes it's a case of, you know, there are so many different layers, elements to that you can't just oversimplify it to say you just put it like a dickhead. Like, no, it's not. More often than not, like I said before, you can meet these people outside. You said it as well. You can know them outside of the relationship and know that actually they're not a dickhead. This relationship has a chokehold. And it's the fear of the unknown. And they don't know what they will do about that relationship, or if it's a physical relationship, sometimes they don't know if they leave in terms of their safety and stuff like that. So there are so many different elements to it that you can't just say, "Oh, they're being dickheads." If anything, what we should probably focus on is trying to help the people who are in, so they can have the strength within themselves to leave and to build up their strength within themselves, so they can have a bit more security within themselves.
100%, bro. 100%. And I just want to say as well, just if there are any women either listening live or when this goes on SoundCloud and Spotify, if you are in a relationship that you are afraid to get out of, particularly, you know, an abusive relationship in any way, contact Women's Aid. They've got a lot of resources available.
And the police as well.
Yes, obviously talk to the police. Women's Aid have some refuges where they will literally keep your location completely hidden away and give you the ability to, you know,
your local council.
but please
your
do
local
contact the
council.
authorities. Be
If you
safe, man.
if you
Don't
can
stick
go to
around.
the council or to a council by go to them as well. They will help put you in touch with aid and stuff like that. You don't want like a internet trail of looking for it. Just there's a lot of help, and
Absolutely.
we need to
Don't be
do
afraid
better
to look
to.
for the help.
There's a lot of help out there. We need to do better to get more help.
Absolutely. I think it's not just on. Yes, we do want women to look and say, hey, I don't like being in this situation, let me be proactive. But also as men, if you see that situation unfolding around you, take action. Be sensible, but take action, man, because we know what these situations can become.
Yeah, get proof. That is
Don't
very
move
important.
rash, but move. Yeah.
Be calm. Don't think you can solve it. This ain't a move.
Yeah. I feel like we've definitely touched a lot of bases on that. So the next topic we're going to talk about, as we alluded to, Liam Neeson, another man moving mad right now.
Okay.
So let me introduce this because I know you're going to have a lot to say. I know that Carl's just jumped back in the chat as well, so we're gonna get some content here. So Liam Neeson has recently done an interview where he talked about a friend of his that suffered a sexual assault, and the perpetrator was a black man, apparently. And Liam Neeson said that at the time he was incredibly angry, and his action for that was to carry a knife. His reaction to that was that he was, whenever he was outside of his house, he'd be carrying a knife with him, a kosh, as he called it, hoping that a black person, or the phrase he used was a black bastard, would approach him in any way, kind of mad or whatever, so that he could essentially chef him up. He was like, listen, I'm carrying this. I want someone black to try me. Didn't happen, but that was his thought process. Now, this was a while back, and he's come into an interview about 2 days ago from the point of recording this, explaining his thought process. Now, the way he's tried to frame that is as, I guess, kind of one of growth, or, I guess trying to say, hey, this is how I felt, honestly. These dark thoughts happen rare. That he's tried to frame that in a way that, hey, look, I'm a better person now, rare. Okay, before I get any further into that, you man, thoughts? What we're saying?
Right. First of all, I would like to say, in my humble opinion,
you're cutting out. Let's get this clear.
Sorry,
I know you're gonna want to talk.
What about now?
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I would like to say once always a racist, in my
opinion.
Secondly, I'm not even gonna lie to you. He's a prick.
Okay, talk your talk, man.
He's a big prick. I understand that something very, very serious and very, very bad happened to his friend, and I can't quite say that, but he definitely sort of let his own. I don't think what his friend really, I wouldn't say has any real effect on what he was really feeling. I feel like what happened to his friend just gave him an app for what he really thinks.
Was it his friend?
Yeah,
that's what it was. His friend. Yeah.
I read it was his sister.
Okay, that may well be true.
I don't know.
Does that change anything?
No. Yes and no. I can understand being upset, but to say that you want to kill any black man for the actions of one, that's like me saying, or if all black people were to say, oh, well, okay, slavery was so you know what? Let me if I see a white man sitting me funny, I'm caving his head in.
It's no, it's
You know what I
very
mean?
real. That's a very,
Or
in fact,
or
go on, go on.
like if a blonde white woman says, "Oh shit, OJ did this." If I see a black man, I'm caving his head in. Like, what do you mean? How does that make sense?
It's, yeah.
Have beef with the person that did what they did. To be pissed. Don't group everyone together. We're not all dickheads.
So let me read a tweet that I saw earlier regarding this, and I saved this specifically for this conversation. So
Okay.
at Neil Ellis, yeah, he said, if you're having trouble understanding the reaction to the Liam Neeson interview, just keep substituting the word black with Jew, Catholic, Mexican, teenager, pensioner, etc. until you empathize with the intended pool of potential victims. And that's what it comes down to. You know, you could never say, oh, it was a Jewish person that raped my sister, so I'm out here looking for Jews and I'll bust heads. You know, that is so wild that people are even trying to defend this thought process. Like,
and I'm seeing, even a couple weak hard ends as well saying, "Oh, you know, I can understand the thought process." No, you can't. Don't lie
out here.
Don't lie. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dickhead for Twitter. Like, don't be a dickhead for the internet. Don't be a fucking slag for the internet. He's a prick.
I mean, certain man were going on TV talking about John Barnes. Okay, John Barnes, big man. You need to reevaluate because he was saying that Liam Neeson deserves a medal for his honesty. Big man, he was. Listen, if you'd looked at him funny that day, he would have chefed you up, big man. Don't. If you go at your house, you had a bad day, you bumped into him, like, you know, bumped shoulders or whatever, he would have turned around and turned you into string cheese, fam. Like,
Paul Ince would have taken his black legend.
Listen, I don't care who you are. I don't think
on one hand, in a way, I'm kind of glad that he said this because now you know what he feels.
Oh yeah, and 100%. I prefer honest racist.
Yeah, because at least you know what you're dealing with. Absolutely. And you know, right? But at the same time, I mean, he can say he's grown, he's changed, this, that, and the other. But that was a thought process that went through. Like you see, racism is
so do you think this makes him racist?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. If he said, let's say, so if he said the P word, if it was an Asian guy that did it, and he said the P word, we would not be questioning if man was racist. We would not be questioning it, bro.
And not just that, he's also kind of said, "Oh, I killed the black bastard." Like, bro, if I call you a black bastard, it's not the same as.
I might still chef man up still. I don't know. I might still fist man up.
But you know what I mean?
Talking to blood.
But you know what I mean? Like, two black people calling each other black bastards or the N-word. But it definitely doesn't hold the same connotation. It doesn't hold the same weight as a white man saying, "Oh, yeah, you're a black bastard." Like, I will want to punch you in your throat. I might not. Nah,
I'm more than likely man will get punched in his throat. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm more than likely probably won't. But that'll be the thought process.
Let me answer Carl's question then again. So 9/11, that happened. Yeah, it was a very real thing. Couple Asian dons hijack planes. We'll keep the conspiracy theories aside because we know that looks a bit. But you know, the narrative.
I don't even think they were.
The narrative was a couple of Asian guys hijacked planes, threw them into the towers, killed a bunch of people. Now, when man were then on the streets beating up any Asian that they could find and blaming them, bearing in mind the perpetrators were suicide bombers, meaning they weren't alive, meaning the people that did this aren't walking the streets. Man were going on the streets beating up any kind of brown on the streets. We did not question that them man were moving racist. We don't question that now. So why are we questioning this? his motive wasn't to find the man who did it. It was any black don in the vicinity. Any black don that touches him or looks at him funny is getting holes in his midriff. He singled out that action to people of a certain race. There is no question in my mind that that man is racist. That is a racist thought process. There's no two ways about that.
So, right, okay, so the definition of racism is prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior. So are we now of the belief that Liam Neeson, because of this event, thinks that black people are less than white people?
No,
I don't know
that is a different caveat.
But I don't know nothing about it, but I do know that he wanted to eliminate black people
In fact,
from the earth.
Yes, he does. Let me tell you why. Because he did not value the general value of a life of a black person at all. He wouldn't have done that for white people. If a white person had raped his sister, he's not going out stabbing every white person. He's doing it to black people because he wouldn't. There's no way he's doing that.
If his sister said, I don't know, but he had brown hair and he had glasses.
You think now he's not going out stabbing everyone with brown hair and glasses. I quote you that now. I guarantee you that is not his thought process.
I've just had a notification.
But he's looking at black people and saying they're disposable.
His New York has been cancelled.
Well, not again.
The thing is, his New York film premiere has been cancelled at the last minute because of the racism stuff.
Good.
Right. Let me tell you this. Yeah. I agree with what you're saying to an extent, Carl, in that if it had been a white man, he might have gone looking for any white man. But the words that he used were not the words of someone who was angry because of what happened to his friend or sister. The words that he used were in line with that of a racist. The way in which he said it was not obviously I don't mean to move like I'm being petty or whatever, but let's be clear, we've all been here long enough to know that there are certain ways that people will say. So even if a white man calls you boy, there's a certain way that he'll say it. There's a certain way that he'll say it. Boy is not a racist word, but with the certain base behind it, there's a hint of racism. It's splashed all over that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That is, 100%. No arguments
for him to say black bar, if he had just said, I was looking for any black man, I could understand the anger with which someone would say the black boss. I could understand the anger because of what happened, but his anger was not channeled. His anger wasn't fully engaged because it seems like anyway. His anger wasn't fully engaged because of what happened. It seemed like his anger was also because a black person dared to touch his friend.
Do you know what? I personally don't think that.
Okay, what do you think? Talk then.
I honestly think, bearing in mind, I know it keeps saying friend. I've read things that said friends, but I've read things that say close to. I've read things that said sister. I personally think that whatever description he was given, he was going out to find someone of that description.
I don't believe that for a second, bro.
That's what I think. Not because I think Liam Neeson is like a great guy or anything. I don't even care about Liam Neeson as an actor or any of his films.
To an extent, I agree. To an extent, I agree. But from here on out, fuck Taken, fuck his movie, fuck him. He ain't that. This guy's been doing the same movie for about 10 years. We get it.
Care of his youth, but...
Yeah, we get it. You're very, very careless with your children. Okay, cool.
I think my point of view is we're gonna spend so much energy tearing down Liam Neeson, and we're not even gonna make any. We're gonna lose that energy making any headway on the massive problems to do with race.
Can I stop you there? Can I say yeah? We can. You're right. We'll waste energy, but I promise you, it's not gonna hurt Liam Neeson in any way, shape, or form. This movie being cancelled ain't really gonna hurt. shape, or form. And it's not even that it's been cancelled; it's just that the premiere has been cancelled. And with Liam Neeson, he can just like fade into the background for a little bit, come back, act like nothing happened. We as black people in general, this cancelling culture, it's a myth. It don't happen.
100%. Big
It's
myth.
a complete
Big
myth.
Biggest
Right.
myth.
You're gonna have to bear with because you see that 2.5 liters that I've drank is trying to pass through me. So
Go on, man. I'll talk to Carl. Yeah. So, Carl, your point there of we're gonna waste energy. It's there is this idea, and I hear this narrative a lot on social media that you can only be pissed off at one thing at a time. Like, and it has to be the most, and your anger has to be saved for the biggest, most, infuriating thing. Otherwise, it's a waste. Like, no, like, how can if I'm angry about this and I choose to say, listen, I'm angry about this, and this person of high profile felt that it was, here's the wicked thing though. He had these thoughts. Everyone has mad thoughts. Everyone thinks some fuckery at some point. But he felt that it would be okay to verbalize those thoughts and put them out there and say, hey, this is how I feel. Knowing that some people are going to defend him, and putting that out there and saying, hey, it's okay to have these thought processes once in a while, as long as you come out and say, hey, I don't feel like that anymore. No, big man, don't normalize this shit. That is not a normal thought process to have. That is not a normal way to speak. That is not a normal way to think. People grieve, people get angry, people act irrationally. But the fact that, when that happens, there's typically some focus. If someone does something bad to a member of my family, I'm going to move irrationally. Let me make that very clear. Yeah? But I'm going to be targeted at the source of the anger. Yeah? Because I'm not a fucking mentalist. I'm not a fucking idiot. I'm not going out there looking to try and find anybody to chef up who is even, the most vague thing, who is of the same race as the person who has upset me. No, that's the actions of a racist. That's the mindset that then people in the BNP and UKIP have. That's extremist behavior. We call them people extremists. That's how terrorists think. Yeah, and this man's trying to normalize it and saying, "Oh well, I'm a happy guy now." Like, no, big man, he was out here ready. Let's put it right down to the simplest way. He was ready to kill an innocent black person because another black person had done something bad to somebody he cared about. That is the crux of it. There's no way I'm not going to be angry about that. I'm not going to normalize that. I'm not going to allow that sort of narrative to be normalized, that it's okay to think like that once in a while. It's okay to just go out with a blade ready to chef up any black person because it is what it is. That's not normal, and it's not a waste of energy to look and say, hey, no, let me let you know from now that is not cool. That's not a waste of energy. That's well spent energy. As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Okay. I'll rephrase what I mean by wasted energy. What I'm saying is, I feel like I've seen just today so much on social media regarding Liam Neeson, but then I think there's issues in which there's other issues that I think are being missed and are now going to be pushed further back. I'm not saying you can only be angry at one thing, but I'm saying collective consciousness seems to forget the bigger things, the major things, the things that perpetuate this sort of behavior and attack individuals. Yeah, we can attack Liam Neeson and say, oh, he's racist, cancel him, get taken out of here, blah, 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 blah. But like, we'll never actually attack the system that causes people to have such racist thoughts. That's just what I'm saying. I think like in the grand scheme of things, it's
I would say more than to harbour racist thoughts and to turn those racist thoughts into racist actions without consequences.
What I'll say to Carl's point there is, and I get what you're saying there, first off, but people aren't ignoring the greater problem. No, people aren't out here just being like, "Oh, Liam Neeson is racist. If we get Liam Neeson out of here, that's problem solved." That's not the case. People are talking about racism on a daily basis. People are talking about the systems that are in place. People are talking about racist world leaders. People are talking about that and the effect that it happens, the effect that it has. And when it happens like this, the reason people are so vocal about it, at least from what I'm seeing, is because it's vindication for what people have been saying all along, that all these things are in place. It's emboldening people to think like this. And when someone comes out and says a thing like that, and not only the fact that he said it, but he felt comfortable being able to say that on TV, feeling like everything would be cool, it's symptomatic of the things that people are talking about. People aren't ignoring the big problems. People aren't ignoring the root of the problem. They're saying, hey, look at this guy, this high profile guy who feels it's comfortable and okay to say that he felt this way. Right? There's nothing right about what he said, but he feels okay that he can come out and say, hey, this is how my head works. I feel like, if something goes mad, I might kill a black bastard. He feels okay speaking that way and trying to normalize that, because that's what he's doing. That's why he's going out there. That's why he's saying it. He's saying, hey, I spoke like this, but it's cool because I'm all right now. I didn't do it, but I felt like this, but I didn't do it. The fact that people feel comfortable being able to say that in positions of power and influence is a big problem. Is a big enough problem to talk about, and in context, like I say, it is symptomatic of the bigger problems and the societal problems that people are addressing, and the things that you're looking at and saying that potentially people might be ignoring because they want to talk about Liam Neeson. I would say it's the opposite. I'd say people are focusing on that so much because we've been talking about this so much.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. Maybe you have more faith on the average person.
Oh, absolutely not. But I have faith in some people. Yeah.
I just think people want to jump on the trend.
There are definitely people on the bandwagon.
That's what my 100%.
100% there are people on the bandwagon, and I don't dispute that one bit.
Yeah. Well, the same thing with our.
Say that again.
Everyone knew it was the same thing with R. Kelly. Jump.
Yeah, absolutely. There were going to be people who are going to, do the whole outrage thing for clicks, for money, whatever. And I hate those people. I'm on record hating those people who monetize outrage. I think that's one of the shittest things you can do.
Lowest of the low.
But at the same time, people should vocalize their outrage. Just be genuine about it. But yeah, I just don't want this to be trivialized, because I think it speaks to a very serious problem.
Yeah, I feel you.
And I think the big thing for me, and I sound like a broken record here, but the attempt to normalize that thought process is what's really getting me. Is that he obviously went out there and thought, I can say this and come out okay on the other side, like, just.
But in reality, he will be.
He believes that. What? There's a high chance that he will. And that is my problem. There, there are men out here walking the streets, ready to, knife man out. And I'm not, naive. This isn't the first time that this has been a reality. That I know that people want to harm me because of the way I look. But the fact that someone's out there, someone who is celebrated, someone who is applauded, someone who's looked up to, is coming out there saying, hey, these thought processes, they happen, and it's all right as long as you don't actually do it, or as long as you're okay afterwards. Like, that's the problem there. That's the big problem.
But if you're in a relationship,
trying to justify it as well, and black people are trying to justify it. It's like, no, this is what the fuck is going on out here.
if you were in a relationship and you told your girl, oh, you know what? I saw Beyonce last night and she tried sticking it on me. And I thought about it, but I didn't do it. Is she going to say, oh, well, as long as you just thought about it and you didn't do it, that's all right then, I'll forgive you. That's all right, love. Yeah, do you know what I mean? And so in the same thing, this guy, he said something, and obviously, like you said, he thought it's going to be okay because clearly he feels black people don't matter enough for black people don't matter enough, so he can say this and everything will be all hunky dory, and we're all going to be fine with it because we don't matter anyway.
We've got a comment in the chat from Roy, who's being particularly active tonight, and I appreciate that. He says 2 comments. He said, I don't think he thought he'd get away with it, was his first comment. And then afterwards he said, did you read the original Independent interview? It was a very off-the-cuff comment. Now, I feel like those 2 statements contradict each other. If you make an off-the-cuff comment, it's because you don't feel there's going to be any consequences to it. You just throw it out there.
Yeah.
The fact that he felt he could throw that out there, and it's not just a few words, it was 2-3 sentences. If that was the case, that it was very off the cuff, because I've read the quote but not the whole interview. To be fair, I should have done my homework. But if it was an off the cuff comment, how do you have an off the cuff comment saying I was ready to go and kill an innocent black person?
To kill the black boss.
Apparently it's the Roy's commenting again. He said, it's the first time you ever spoke about it. Okay, but he was thinking about it, and if he'd actually done it, it wouldn't have been the first time he'd spoken about it, because he would have been speaking about it in court after he chefed up an innocent black guy because he felt that they were that disposable. It's
look. Let me say, like I said before, I can completely understand the rage that would, after hearing that happen to your friend, I can understand that rage.
I completely understand the rage. I'm with you.
Mm-hmm.
And quite frankly, as a human being, I'm outraged that his friend went through that. I'm disgusted. And as a black person, to know that it was another black person that did it, I'm ashamed. As a man, I'm ashamed that another man has done that. But not a single bit of that justifies his thought process. Well, the thought process that he has conveyed to us that he had.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
That's it. And I completely understand what you're saying. We shouldn't waste it feels a bit like, oh, he's just a new trending topic. But like Ash said, this is more of this whole Black Lives Matter movement. In fact, the civil rights movement, even from like the 60s and stuff, it never really died down. They tried to kill it, but it's never really gone anywhere. And even now, the Black Lives Matter movement, they've tried to kill it, but it's not gone anywhere, and it's not going to go anywhere because we won't ever stop talking about it until there's actual change. And, racism is such a complex issue. It's very, very difficult to say, oh, this is how it's going to end. And to cancel Liam Neeson ain't going to do nothing, because in his mind, he's probably not a racist. And that is problems that you have with this particular thing. A lot of people don't believe that they are racist because they could be in the same room as a black person, or they could work with a black person, or, oh, my neighbor is a black man, so I can't be a racist. As if you bought the house for it.
Right.
No. At work, I sit next to a black person. I mean, if your boss didn't put him there, would you have sat next to him? No.
Okay. Let's talk about that. Roy is saying that he still thinks the guy was racist at the time, which personally I don't think you.
I don't think
racist.
Wait.
The issue needs to be discussed.
Does time not come into this at all?
What do you mean?
It can. I feel like
No,
Whilst
no,
I
it
do,
doesn't.
I did.
No, it doesn't go into this at all.
Think about it like as do you view the now the same way that you did 5 years ago?
No, but I also wasn't a racist
No.
5 years ago.
No,
There
no.
are some things that are ingrained in who you are. Racism is one.
Yeah.
I don't think people
know,
ever become unracist. People just hide it.
yeah,
Racism is a
I would agree
fundamental
with that.
mindset.
I'd say that. I'd say for the most part they hide it better, but racism. You see, with racism, it's not a natural. It's not a natural thing. It's taught behavior. It's not natural behavior because there's nothing logical. There's nothing logical about racism when you break it down.
Okay.
Not to oversimplify it, but there's nothing logical about it. Like there's no real reason for you to hate someone else because of the color of their skin. You can hate someone else because they slept with your girlfriend while you were with her. You can hate someone else because they ran over your foot. You can hate someone because they play for Tottenham Hotspur. That's neither here nor there. You can't hate someone because of the color of their skin. Like, not really, not like naturally within you. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
That's taught behavior.
Okay.
And so, in a way, you can be untaught that behavior. Even sexism, homophobia, all of them they are learned behaviors, and you can unlearn behavior.
Let me say that on that point before I forget. Let me say it on that point where you say it's taught behavior. I think that the people who can quote unquote unlearn racism don't believe it, they copy it, or they're influenced by either the people or the surroundings around them, and then at the point that they actually think for themselves, decide, hey, this isn't for me. Because you get kids who are brought up in racist families and will copy that shit, say the same shit, and then grow up and be like, actually, no, I'm not really on that. That is different to someone who is a grown adult with their own thoughts and feelings, and who will look and say, this is the way I want to view the world, this is the way I look at things. I don't believe those people can change at all.
Nah, I agree.
I don't believe those people can change. And Roy is in the chat saying that, he was homophobic 15 years ago and he's not anymore. 15 years ago, he was a teenager, he was a child. Yeah, you can unlearn that sort of thing because, that sort of stuff is put around you. Roy is Asian, in ethnic households, homophobia is a very big thing. It just is. It's a cultural thing, especially in religious households. It's a very, it's a taught thing. I was taught that being gay is this one of the worst things in the world, rare. The moment I was old enough to think for myself and really question everything that I've been taught growing up, I was like, yeah, that's some bullshit, man.
Do you know what it is?
That was copied thought
you
processes.
get to know,
you get ingrained in me.
You get to know people and stuff as well, and you'll be like, oh, actually.
Yeah, but Liam Neeson knew black people at this point. Let's be real. This was
he might not have. He might not have.
Listen,
if he lived and brought up in Northern Ireland, so he might not have. But at the same time, that in a way that even makes it worse because
he was registered for the 3 people on the whole island. Yeah. You get me?
Yeah, nah. Yeah. Anyway,
I don't excuse adults. I don't excuse adults at all for that. Kids can relearn stuff. If you feel that way as an adult with your own thought processes and the amount of information that is available to you as an adult, and the entire world that is available to you as an adult, and you decide to feel that way, I'm not making excuses for you. I'm not allowing excuses to be made for you either. If you are a racist adult, you are a racist adult. There's no. I'm not trying to hear nothing else. And if from the moment I know that someone as an adult is a racist, I'm not trusting them as far as I can throw them.
Yeah. No,
they can tell me they've changed. Oh no, I've changed my mindset now that I've been around more. No. You've got them prejudices in your head. You just happen now to like the black people that are around you. Yeah, let it be a next black person you don't know, and we're back to ground zero.
Yeah. You know, even around people comfortable around, they'll start saying some stuff. They'll start saying some stuff, and then they'll try.
Here's the classic one, Limbs. Oh, you're one of the good ones.
Yeah. Oh, you're all right.
That's not what I
It's the
expected.
rest of
You're all
them.
right. You are. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's that
It's not you.
mentality
It's the
there.
rest of them. It's not you. It's the rest of them.
Exactly.
Yeah. Is Carl still here?
Nah, he's jumped out again.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's and I've seen an example of that in someone that I know, someone that's been around me, been around my kids, and then
Been around what? Sorry, you keep cutting out.
oh sorry, bro, someone that's been around me, been around my kids.
Yeah, still cutting out.
So this person that has been around me and my family,
Yeah.
once posted something on Facebook saying essentially that there was a black person in an area that they didn't recognize and immediately accused him of being some part of some organized crime thing. It's like, well, hold on, what the fuck? Like, is this what you thought of me before you knew
This is how
me?
you really feel.
This is how you really feel about the blacks that you're not comfortable with. Like,
And there's a lot of people I speak to anymore because I sort of, once I got to uni, I sort of, you hang around other black people, you start to realise actually this thought process is not logical. It's not, I don't mean to sound like a coon or tap dancing, that Daffy Duck gif. I don't mean to sound like that, but you know what? Like, you start to realise that this ain't normal, and I can't go back to that because I will react like this, and I don't want to react like this. So I would rather leave them to their thing. Eventually, they will slip up and they will fall on the sword that they've tried to leave out for other people. Fall on their own sword. That's how I look at it.
Yeah. And as much as I would love to punch every racist person
with Liam Neeson, I would say he's one of many. I'm sure there are many within Hollywood who have maybe not had the same experience, but have had that same sort of thought process of wanting to attack. I'm pretty sure Mark Wahlberg actually was also accused of some sort of racism in his past. And you can even see some of them look way too comfortable when they're acting in these movies saying the N-word.
Yeah, Quentin Tarantino is definitely a racist.
Bro, he needs to reevaluate his whole life because.
But then I want to look at Samuel L. Jackson, who's reading these scripts and being like, "Yo, you got." Because if that's me now, I'm looking at a paper. I'm looking back up at man. I'm like, you wrote this.
Samuel worked with him before.
Bro, he's got Samuel L. Jackson dropping N-bombs every 2 seconds. That's written in there. That's not ad-libs. Man said, no. You need to say that right now. Hard R. Like, me. None of this colloquialism. I want to feel the racism. Take 7. Go. You know No.
No, you're right. But there are plenty of racists like that, and we see it in the news. America is a hotbed for racism. So is this country as well. I feel
we're
like
talking about two countries that were built on racism. Their entire success is built on racism.
What's interesting is America has embraced the racism that helped build it, and it's never shied away from their history. They're just very arrogant in that. Well, we are. What are you going to do about it? Whereas this country,
the Millwall of the world.
Yeah. Whereas this country is very much. Oh no, it wasn't us. It was them.
Because we look at Germany all mad, but England were out here doing it. England were the OGs. England, English racism is top tier, delicious racism. I mean, gourmet racism.
They're so racist here that if you call it out, they'll spin it to the point where you look.
Listen, they've clocked racism, level 101 racism.
So like, if you're playing a game, do you remember the game Prince of Persia? They completed that, completed number 2, completed number 3, completed all of that shit, bro.
Sands of time racism.
You know them ones. They've completed it in ways where we're yet to even. We don't even know the levels that they like. It's so bad, and like I said, like when it's happening, like you know, you can explain to someone how boy is racist, and they'll look at you like you're the sensitive one. Oh, but boy, like they know what they're saying, you know what they're saying. But if you bring it up and say, "Oh, you're being racist," you'll be like, "Actually, no, you antagonize him or whatever," or "Oh, you're just being sensitive." Meanwhile, we're both the same age.
Yeah.
You can't be calling me boy, talking to me like I'm your son when we're the same age.
Yeah.
Just because you look older, because you age like milk, it don't mean that you can talk to me like that.
Wow. Damn. Well, yeah, I think that would be.
And that's not racism, by the way.
Listen, wow. Yeah. So, what were we saying? Fuck Liam Neeson.
100%.
Okay.
Like canceling his movies, canceling his movies to him, like canceling anything else.
Yeah, he's not going to get harmed by this whole
cancel culture. You know, I would say that,
but it is fucking Liam Neeson regardless.
Yeah, to an extent, I'd say that, you know, when it comes to this whole canceling culture, I've touched on it before, that it's bullshit because it don't really. Okay, we spoke about. I won't even bring that one up, but I'm just trying to think. There are plenty of people like they said that they cancelled Maya Jama because of some stuff that she said, and she's been flying high ever since.
Yeah, I've done the whole cancelling thing to death. Like it's bullshit.
You know, that's just one of many examples.
Yeah,
R. Kelly, like people would say, "Oh, we're going to cancel R. Kelly." People have been saying that 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, and this guy just keeps growing and growing. Shit.
Yo, R. Kelly pissed on a 14-year-old on camera, and in that time, let me be straight with you. In that 7-year period, I have bought an R. Kelly CD. I'm ashamed to say it, but I did it. Yeah, you're scum still.
I am.
You know how hard it is to buy a CD these days? You went out and bought a CD. You're a piece of shit. Listen, you're cancelled as well, fam. Yeah, we're getting you out of here, man. Jeez. Man went out of his way to support that.
Nah.
Man, so, HMV, them places ain't even open again. They were closing down when we found the one that was open to go and buy an R. Kelly CD. I can't believe it. We gotta get you out of here.
I bought it on Amazon. I bought it on Amazon still anyway. That's the point. Let's just move on from that real quick.
Man had to fill in a 12-field web form. Yeah. Have that confirmed by his bank. Oh my goodness. Nah.
And you know
hashtag stop Ilemo 2019. You the new code, getting you out of here, bro. I can't believe it. I was out here buying R. Kelly. Listen.
It takes a man to admit faults, innit?
Don't try that with me. Don't try that with me.
You know what? I've not actually listened to any of his for a very long time.
You were stepping in the name of love this week.
How do you remember the name of the song, cuz?
Don't even try and twist this on me. Are you mad? Are you mad? I'm not out here paying.
But yeah, right. Let's just move on, innit? On the subject of music, 21 Savage.
Okay. Is that what you're talking about? 21.
Okay. Because I don't like. Yeah, I don't like the way that the whole thing's been handled.
No.
Obviously, I like the jokes. The jokes have been very funny.
The jokes have been hilarious.
But it's a very, very serious thing. And he's been arrested, like from what I hear, or from what I've read rather, he's been arrested a bunch of times. He's had all sorts of issues. And I saw someone saying that he was trying to do good in the community, and now they're trying to get him out of there. But that's the same sort of narrative that they use for Bill Cosby, so I'm not really going to go down that route.
Yeah, that could get sticky, but I mean, it does.
That could get very, very, very sticky.
It does seem to match up.
Yeah, and I feel like every time something happens to a black person, that is a narrative that people keep trying to use. Like, oh, he was trying to do X. community. The only time that's not actually been used as an excuse, thankfully, was with the aforementioned R. Kelly.
Yeah, because
but that's the thing that we need to do in that community. Like, we can't say, oh, he was only bad because he was trying to do something good for the community. Like, you can be, whilst there could be a degree of truth in that, at the same time, he got caught doing something he shouldn't have been doing. More often than not. It's like saying, oh, Suge Knight was actually just trying to teach people about road safety and they bagged him. No, he wasn't.
Listen, Suge Knight had a girl in a headlock in the nightclub and was dancing
Bro,
with her. She couldn't breathe, fam. She was tapping
like,
out, man.
Look, yeah, I personally, I don't like have the same level of disrespect for Suge Knight that everyone else. But let's be clear, this is a man made someone drink piss.
Come on, hold on. I wanna go a bit further into that. What level of respect do you have for Suge Knight? Now, is it respect or is it fear? Because I can understand one, but not the other.
No, like, I respect what he did with Death Row. I feel like it's one of the greatest record labels that ever was in the 90s.
Because
one
of
the
the
best.
artist, not because of him.
But he was a big part of that, and he helped push the art to a point where they could say what they wanted to say. He had a very good deal. My understanding is that he had a very good deal with Interscope or whatever to ensure that the record label collected a lot of the money and stuff like that. The way that he went about his business was not the most conventional. Like,
The reason he had a good deal is because he was punching people up until they said yes. The people who tried to negotiate are dead. That's why he's got good deals.
Not all of them, but yeah.
Not all of them. I mean, case in point.
But it is true that a lot of the people who are dead, but a lot of that is entirely his. Anyway, I don't even go further into it.
I don't know how you're going to spin that. But yeah, this whole 21 Savage thing, though. The thing is, he's not being given bail. He's, they're really trying to hold him at the moment. But the thing is, as well, apparently he had a visa already being processed. Like, it's currently still being processed. So
yeah, which means that what they're doing. So there's something a lot more sinister going on.
Yes, there is.
And I don't like the way people have gone and released his birth certificate.
Yeah, that's too far. Is NHS numbers out there? I know 21 Savage's NHS number. Like,
which is not. That's an invasion of privacy. Even if he wasn't a celebrity, if he was just a normal person, that's an invasion of privacy.
Absolutely.
Big time. And that to me is disgusting.
Absolutely, I agree.
But I hope that everything gets resolved in the right way, and that he'll be okay. It's quite a scary thing.
Yeah,
immigration ain't no joke.
His case. I definitely hope it's his case. But yeah, I don't think there's too much more to say about that, really. I want to get onto a section that I do every podcast towards the end, which I call the show love segment, where I show love to something that I've seen someone doing. Particularly, I try and show love to smaller content creators, people, entrepreneurs, whatever, people who are out there just doing their thing, trying to make something happen. And I see it, I rate it, because I feel like people are too shy to say, or they think it's not cool to say that they rate somebody or that they respect somebody.
That is true.
Or that they like.
That is true. I think people look at, he's breading him. He's trying to lick his booty. First of all, there's nothing wrong. Secondly,
I'm so glad it cut out there. I'm so glad because moving very mad on my podcast. This is my thing,
You could just edit that. But no, like, I think sometimes people are afraid to show love because of what other people will say. I mean, people are afraid to do a lot of things because of what other people will say. In fact, actually, we can even take that back to the relationship stuff we were talking about earlier. Sometimes people don't want to leave because it's like, oh, what will people say? Fuck what people will say. They will say what they want to say regardless.
I agree.
So do what's best for you.
So, on that note, though, yes, I want to show some love. I do every podcast, at least one thing that I show love to. And also, as I've got you on as a guest, I'll allow you to plug your thing straight after as well. But I want to show some love to a content creator that I've worked with previously. It goes by the name of Deluded Gooner.
Okay. I've seen his tweets about sometimes.
Yeah, man, he's very knowledgeable. He can sit and talk about football for hours. The guy knows his stuff. Me and him will sit and talk and have disagreements all the time, but it's always from a place of knowledge. And
is he Emery in or Emery out?
You know, I haven't asked him that. You know, I think right now I don't think he's a fan of Emery. I'll put it that way. But yeah, I want to shout out Deluded Goon. I want to leave his links all about in the description and stuff. I'll tweet them out as well. He's recently just got his FA Level 2 in talent recognition, which is a scouting.
That's really good.
His levels. He knows.
Congratulations to him.
Player. So yeah, absolutely. His YouTube channel is going from strength to strength. He's other people calling on him in terms of punditry and things like that. So
that's really good.
He's someone that I've been, following for a little while now, and I'm just happy to see his progress. So keep that up, and if you are listening, bro, we've got to link up soon again and get you on one of these podcasts again. So yeah, definitely some big love to Deluded Gooner. Check him out. But also, Lems, as you are here, not physically but digitally, you are here. Talk to people about your YouTube that you're doing. You talked about it earlier about how obviously Nigerian music videos are good for you. So talk about that. Talk about what you're doing.
Well, I've got a YouTube channel that showcases old Nigerian music videos. It's something that means a lot to me. It's part of the culture that, like I said before, is quite special to me. Music is... I'm not gonna lie and say it's like a passion because I don't really want to pursue it, but it's something that means a lot to me. A lot of the music, it's like a comfort for me, and I wanted to do something that would preserve the culture and just show appreciation to the music that raised me. Some of the music, I won't even lie, I'm only really just discovering as an adult because my parents didn't bring me in on everything. But I'm just trying to preserve the culture, let everyone know that it's not all fella or whatever. There's a lot more to Nigerian music than him. Not to say that he wasn't great, but there's a lot of Nigerian music out there that was really, 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 really good, and it's specifically Yoruba music because that's the language that I speak. But if I could get hold of others, then of course I will showcase them as well. I feel like it's important for people to know that we got culture in our country. We got a rich talent in our country as well, and everyone needs to know we're not all fraudsters, and it's not all jollof rice and multiple. It's not all jollof rice and multiple wives.
It's a big thing.
Even though like the majority of the artists I've got on there are probably had multiple wives at any one point in time. That's not the point. The point is they're extremely talented individuals, and I just want everyone to appreciate them. Really, OTTP TV is the name of the channel. Please subscribe, like, comment, watch the videos. Just enjoy yourself.
Okay, so that's OTTP TV. I'm going to leave the links to that in the description as well. I'll tweet that out with the podcast. And this is something that you can see from the start, see it growing, and obviously engage with some of Nigeria's rich artistic history.
I haven't put any subtitles on it. But
that might be a thing to do still, because the language barrier might be a thing. But music touches everybody regardless.
Yeah, so, I don't understand the song after France won the World Cup.
Yeah,
that song is banging. I couldn't tell you a word outside of the footballer's name. I really couldn't tell you a word that was being said, but it bangs. So I would argue that you don't always necessarily need to know what's being said
Yeah.
to enjoy music.
I get you.
Just listen to the beats, man. Like, these are traditional Nigerian music genres. Like, they were literally, there's one of them. There's one genre where you'll see a name pop up a few times, which is Fuji, and that is 100% originally Nigerian. Like, its origins can only be found in Nigerian.
Okay. So it's your
And that's
take.
probably one of my favorite Nigerian genres because of that. I mean, it's not the only Nigerian genre where its origins can be found there, but like there's Afro beats and there's Juju music, and both of which can be found in their origins can be found in Senegal, Ghana, and stuff like that. But Fuji music is strictly Nigerian.
Okay. So that's it. People check out.
And it has.
Oh, go on.
Just to further that, it comes from. Well, I don't even need to explain all of that, but yes, 100% Nigerian, and yeah.
Green, white, and green. So OTTP TV is the YouTube channel. Again, like I said, I will link all of that in the description.
And thank you. Thank you again, man.
Yeah, man, it's good to have
and
you
all
on.
of that.
I've enjoyed having you and Carl on. I need to link Carl's music as well. I need to make sure it gives me his links. But
yeah,
it's good to have you guys, your views, your thoughts, your energy, and just be able to bounce off you guys. This is already my favourite one that I've done so far. So thank you for being part of it.
Anytime.
I'll definitely shout you again in future because it'd be good to have you guys.
Maybe let's do it on a day where there's extenders, though. Yeah?
Say that again.
Maybe let's do it on a day where they don't have extenders.
Listen, I'm gonna do it every single time there's EastEnders because that show's garbage. Yeah, and I'm saving you from that.
I got it on series anyway. We're good.
Trash.
Bro, EastEnders, yeah, is. I'm not even. I feel like I'm in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
I'm in an abusive EastEnders and Pounded Yam. Like, they both got me in a chokehold. I need to leave, but I won't.
You need to, bro. I'm telling you now as
I
a friend.
need to, but I
show
won't.
is garbage. All right, Ilemo, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been an
thank you for
pleasure.
I hope I can come back again real soon.
I think we can allow that. Yeah, I think we can allow that. All right, then take care.
All right, peace.
Peace out, man. Alright, so that was Ilemo, a good friend of mine, and an absolute pleasure to have him involved in this podcast. But now we're going to get on to our song of the week, and it's someone we've talked about today, 21 Savage. I do like his new song a lot. Everything's kind of happening all at once for him right now, good and bad. But that is the song that we are going to lead with, or at least close out with, on today's podcast. So I hope you all enjoyed this episode of the Show podcast, whether you listen live or whether you listened whether you listen in on podcast. A podcast on SoundCloud or Spotify. Thank you all for listening, and until next time, take care and peace. I'm going to leave you with some 21 Savage to enjoy, and hopefully you do enjoy that. Take care, peace.